What's up, everybody? It is your boy, Nigel Generation, back here with another episode of Talk-2-ME Talk Show, where we discuss various topics about our people, our youth, and our future. So today we have a very, very special guest with us, a great, great friend of mine, and we'll get into her in a very, very quick second. But today we will be talking about Talk to Me Toxic. So toxic relationships, what they are, signs of a toxic relationship, who's more toxic between guys and girls, and what to do if you are in one. So before we get into that, I'm going to slide on over this way and let my guest introduce herself.
Hey y'all, my name is Christine Griffin. I'm a junior at North Carolina A&T, and I am working on, being a personal trainer and all these things. And I'm so excited to honestly talk about toxic relationships today because when Nigel told me the topic, I was like, oh yeah, I can definitely speak on that because not only have I been in one myself, but I have friends who have also been in one. So I've seen the insides and the outsides. So I'm ready.
Well, hey, we'd love to have you here. Welcome. Welcome to the family as well. So we're going to kick on off. So what is a toxic relationship? So first off, going into like a quick little synopsis and definition and all that. So a toxic relationship is not always physical or verbal abuse. Toxic traits or actions that are mental, physical, spiritual, and socially harming to the relationship or friendships can be toxic. It can be draining to your mental and lead to serious health issues such as anxiety, PTSD, and depression. Toxicity can stem from someone who has a bad past, certain diagnosis, and things such as that. So, going into your definition, what do you think toxic, like the word toxic, is?
I feel like toxic is anything, like you said, that harms you mentally, physically, spiritually, all of that. Even if the other person may not mean for it, like you can still be unintentionally toxic just by your behaviors, your words, your actions, all of that. And I was looking at the definition and just thinking about the word that automatically came to my head was gaslighting. And I know this is a big thing that a lot of people who are toxic do. So for me, it's like in speaking of friends and relationships, going to somebody, having somebody do something to you. Like let's say somebody cheats on you or something, right? And you confront them about it, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" No, I didn't. Like they're trying to make you seem like you're going crazy in the head. Like that's automatically what my mind goes to when I think of toxic. But I mean, it also doesn't have to be that extreme. It could simply be your friend being jealous of you and them, doing little things or making smart comments when like people are around to try to like quote unquote embarrass you. So that's what my head goes to when I think toxic.
So, normally when I think of toxic, I think, well, first off, I want to say I never really thought like toxic in the terms of friendship and relationship. I always thought, toxic is just straight relationships and that's all it is. But I learned friendships can be toxic too because you have some friends that are like controlling and things. And then a friend taught me about the word peer pressure. Peer pressure is also another way of being toxic too. You have friends that tell you like, "Hey, let's do this or do that," and then you'll do it with them. But as soon as you want to do something, then they like, "Nah, I don't want to do that. We ain't going over there." Like, "Nah, let's do what
Yeah.
we want to do or something else like that." Like that's still another way of being controlling and toxic too. And
Yeah, I really feel that peer pressure one, like even in the sense where it's like for me, I had when I was with an old group of friends, I stopped wanting to do certain things that they were doing. I didn't want to smoke no more. I didn't really want to drink no more. And then like when I told them that, but they were still trying to get me to do it. Like, come on, like just one time, it's G-Ho, this that. Like I don't want to do it, but they still putting it in front of my face, knowing that I'm trying to stop. So why are you putting that in my face? Type.
that's gonna be toxic for you too. So moving on in terms, are men more toxic than women or women more toxic? What do you think? Because they always say the women always toxic, they get crazy, they don't know what they talking about. It's a whole nother thing. What do you think?
I feel like men and women are just as equally toxic. Like it's kind of like the question where it's like, who do you think cheats more, men or women? I feel like that we're both equally toxic in our own ways. But one thing I will say is I feel like men get blamed for being toxic a lot more than women do, in the sense that I see a lot of things on social media that if a man did it, it'd be a whole nother story. Like people would be in the comments going off, this, that, and the third. Like, and it's even simple stuff, like simple jokes. Like I'll see, a comedian obviously acting, and like if he cheats on her, right, in the little skit, right, like she'll hit him or slap him or like anything like that. But if you really just switch those roles, and she cheated and he slapped her,
Yeah, it was bad.
the comments would be insane. Like literally the whole story would be flipped. It's like you don't put your hands on a girl and well you don't put your hands on a guy either. So I feel like they're both equally toxic, but I do feel like women get away with it a little bit
Okay, okay. I can kind of see what you're talking about. More on the lines of like reverse roles and then things being acceptable and things not being acceptable.
Like I feel like the whole crazy girl, like girls will pride themselves, and I used to do this, pride ourselves on being crazy. Like, oh, don't mess with me, I'm crazy. Don't cheat on me, I'm crazy. Or you don't want to be with me, I'm crazy. But if a guy behaved the same way, he's not crazy in like a good sense. He's crazy like he's violent, he's dangerous. You don't need to be with him. He's toxic type thing.
Okay, okay. So we all have a little toxic bone in our body and stuff like that. So do you think that you have a toxic bone in your body or used to that you had to break away from and get rid of?
Um, yes, I actually do. But like I said, we all do. But when it comes to relationships, I can do relationships and friendships. When it comes to relationships, I'm very in general, I'm a person that needs to be in control. And I also like to spend a lot of time. I also like to spend a lot of time with the person that I'm with. And sometimes I don't understand that we need our space. And so I'm like, why don't you want to hang out with me? Like, even though we just spent 7 hours together, or I could be like really impatient because like I want things done now in this moment. So that's more so with relationships. And then with friendships, I would say I've been told that I was toxic in the sense that I'm an introvert. So I don't really be around my friends like that unless I choose to. And so I've been told like, you only make time for me when you feel like it and this, that, and third, like you throw me to the side. And then when you're ready to talk to me, that's when you text me. And that's true. But in my mind, it's more so like I don't like people anyway. So like when I want to be around you, that's when I want to be around you. But when I don't,
And toxic really is an understanding between two people. Like you said, like some people like their space, some people don't. So it can be worrisome or troublesome for some people. Like me, sometimes I can be impatient. I will say that that's one toxic little bone in my body. I've been called manipulative. What else? That's really pretty much it. Just really two small little toxic bones in my body that I learned to stray away from when being in friendships and relationships too. Because at this point in film, we get know we get notice things we can do, talk about instead of letting it get to that point and becoming toxic. Too.
yeah.
So what to do if you're in a toxic relationship. So back down to the notes right quick. First, start by looking up a few warning signs for yourself, and if any of those warning signs line up, it's toxic. Second, try to talk about it with someone else other than the person and let them know what makes you feel uncomfortable. Then go back and talk to the person. So try to have this conversation by not playing the blame game and not calling each other out. Also, counseling never fails. Last option is to leave. There's somebody for everybody, and you do not want to put a burden on somebody else, yourself, nor your health. Sometimes you just have to find somebody on your level of crazy.
And also, I want to just add to that. When you're looking up warning signs, don't try to justify your signs because a lot of people will see things that apply to them and apply to their situation. And they'll be like if for the jealous best friend, like, does your best friend make comments about you in front of people that make you uncomfortable? And they'll be like, I mean, well, she just be joking. Like, it's just a joke. Or like your boyfriend, is he always hiding his phone? Or I don't know, and they'd be like, well, he just this, that, and the third, or that's just how he is. Like, if you continue to make those justifications for the warning signs, then it's like it's gonna be hard to get out of that situation.
Yeah, so I'm always like known as the peacekeeper. So I don't like to argue. I don't like to fuss. I don't like to fight. Texting, calling, look, let's sit down. Let's talk. If there's an issue, I'm always the person to talk. If I can't get to you, then hopefully somebody else can that I know that we both know in a sense. So
Also, this one is kind of like it depends. Always evaluate the source because a lot of times people will see a toxic relationship way before you see it. I know my mom, when I was in a relationship, she saw how bad that was before I could ever see it. Because when they say love is blinding, they really mean it. Because you see the good in all that person, and everybody else is like, why is she with him? Like, he's this, that, and the third. So listening to those people around you is important, but then also evaluate the source. Because I mean, you do have some people who just, may be jealous of you or don't want to see you with him. But I know my mom isn't jealous of me. I know she wants the best of me. Or like, my best friend, who, if it's somebody I really trust, like, I'm like, okay, she wants the best of me. So maybe I should take in what she's saying into consideration and not just be like, girl, like, worry about your own life. Like, no, I should actually listen because she sees something I can't.
This was episode 4 of Talk to Me Talk Show. Talk to Me Toxic, most important. And we appreciate you and have you on this episode. Once again, welcome to the family, to the Talk Show. And we appreciate you.